Assalamu alaikum guys, it is IELTS ZONE Fergana channel on YouTube. As you guys know, we usually have podcasts in Uzbek, in English, but this time it's going to be in English, okay? So lots of people were asking about the topic which is called like student's life.
Student's life.
So that's why today we're gonna discuss this, okay? So student's life. Should we actually work when we study somewhere? I mean, when we are a student or not? We have different views, right?
Yes.
And you guys are students. I mean, you guys go to university now, but still you guys work, right? So why? So today we're going to talk about such kind of issues related to students' life, okay? Mm-hmm. So first, let's start with you, Klamjan.
Yeah, a little bit introduction.
Yeah.
Of yourself.
Well, I'm an economics student, and now I'm a senior student, and I've been working as an English teacher for the past 3 years, and I started working the year I got into university.
Okay.
And damn it, naturally, I want to be on like working side because when I got into university, well, I understand that it can depend on certain factors, but in my case, I thought I had to work. I think. Last time we talked about it, and I told you the reason, and it was like, you know, I was losing my English,
okay,
like
so
literally, and
just to keep it as the way it was, like you started working, right?
I had to brush up on my English skills. That's why I started working. Plus, you know, in Uzbekistan, you know, university education doesn't give you much. Let's face it, it doesn't give you much in terms of knowledge, in terms of like opportunities. You don't have that much networking opportunities. While working, you get a lot more. You know?
Okay, you get the chance to get a class. I mean, like to get familiar with different people.
Yes.
And to have your own networking.
Yeah, and I think you gain independence. You know, while studying, still you're seen as a student, and in Uzbek culture, you have a lot of freedom, or they cut you some slack in some way. Okay. But while working, it's not the case. You know, you have to be independent and you have to fend for yourself. And I think for these reasons, working can actually be beneficial in the sense that you gain independence and some freedom.
Okay, so independence and freedom, right?
And freedom.
Actually, what's the difference, like independence and freedom?
Freedom can mean so many things, like maybe financial freedom. You're not going to be dependent on your parents too much. And
okay, so let me give you another question. Like financially independent we have, and financial independence we have, and
and
financial freedom.
Right?
Well, what's the difference?
Independence is basically making the choice on your own.
Okay.
I think, and freedom is having that ability. I think. I mean, it's
like
quite abstract.
almost the same.
Yeah, that's similar. I mean, but. All right, let me think. Financial freedom and financial independence. Yeah, I mean they're similar. I don't think we have to go into that rabbit hole.
Okay, so like you were talking about advantages, right? So like one of them is probably networking.
Yeah.
Another one is financial independence, and one of them is.
And
third one.
I think I didn't say anything else.
Okay, so all right.
But I guess, you know, you can spend your time in a meaningful way because most of the time when students get into university, they kind of lose their purpose and they feel like they've achieved something big, and it's when
they stop working on themselves.
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing.
Situation.
And you know, like now, so many people want to get into university and they try so fast.
That's like kind of destination, right?
Yes,
for them,
they,
right?
they think that's the final destination.
Yeah.
And like after getting into university, so many people don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah.
Next, right?
And I think work can be the next step, the next kind of challenge, if I may. And by basically work can give anybody a clear purpose, and it gives people the chance to live a meaningful life.
Okay, fair enough. So what do you think? You study medicine?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself a little bit. I am now fourth year of medical student. I am studying at Fargʻona Medical Institute, and I'm also teaching here in IELTS Zone Fergana as a main teacher. And I have Band-Aid. I should flex it a bit, right? So for me, a lot of people say, my group mates basically say like, oh, you're working as an English teacher, you're not being productive enough, you're not learning medicine, but at the same time, they're not doing anything themselves. So I think, yeah, as like Octam John said,
just look at us.
As Octam John said, like everybody just lose their passion and they lose the muscle of like really studying and learning new things, right? They don't do anything for 4 or 5 years, and when they're in a medical sphere, at least when they start to work, then they realize I don't know anything. So then
okay, so my question, I'm sorry to disturb, like I will be keeping this, okay? So when I feel that you guys are going off topic, I will be stopping and like cutting it, okay? So
Sure.
My question for you is, so why didn't you work as a doctor? I mean, like you could work, right?
No.
Why not?
I'm just fourth year of medical student.
So it's not
I can basically work as a nurse, but
what's wrong with this?
Basically, for being nurse, you have to pay at least $800 in Uzbekistan.
What do you mean? Why should you pay?
I
mean, to get the job.
To get the job.
Yeah, this is another topic, right?
Yeah, and second of all, if you even work as a nurse, you only get paid for like 1.5 million, and you have to stay in night shifts for 5-10 times a month, and it's very stressful.
Stressful.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to deal with sick people, and sick people are the most frustrated and annoyed people, and they're also very mean
you should
towards
be
other
flexible
people.
all the time.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
flexible.
like talking to them.
Yeah.
And like pleasing them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm very young and I'm very energetic. I think I would sacrifice my these like abilities when I start early to work as a doctor. So I want to give like a little bit time for me, and when I'm like really calm and peaceful, and then I start to be a doctor, and I think it'll be easy for me to handle that pressure.
I got it. So you don't work as a doctor just because the salary is low, right? And the second one is to get a job is difficult, right? And next one is it's stressful.
It's stressful.
And my question, why should you work? I mean, he said that he works for the sake of financial independence, and for the sake of networking, and for the sake of having more chance and opportunities for further development, right? But why do you work?
So last time I've given a little bit of why I have gotten to English and working as a whole. So I learn English pretty much in a different way. So I'm trying to implement these strategies in new students as well, like incorporating reading literature books, watching movies, having fun and stuff like that.
Kind of language acquisition, right?
Yeah,
not
language acquisition. Yeah, exactly. And second of all, it's about like financial situation. You know, when you get older, it will be harder and harder for you to really ask money every morning, at least
from your parents.
From my parents, and
that's the reason.
And that's very hard. You know.
Okay. So my question, like, doesn't it bother you guys in study? I mean, like, for example, when I was studying at Tashkent State University of Economics, I was working, right? I was working at the same time, and it actually disturbed me. You know, it had certain impact on my study. And how is it going with you guys?
Should I answer first?
Like, doesn't matter.
I really got into teaching in like last month, I guess. So from now on, I have never experienced like study pressure and work pressure.
Because it's like
simultaneously.
Summer holiday,
yeah. We'll see from September on. Yeah.
Okay, but do you think that you will have certain problematic issues associated with study and work? I mean, not like work-life balance, but work-study balance.
Work-study balance. So I'm very good at, doing multiple things simultaneously. I guess I can manage it if my like endurance allows it. You know.
Okay. You think you can handle it, right?
I think I can handle it. Yeah.
Okay. So what about you? Like, did it have any, like, how do we call, like, did it have a toll on your study?
I guess so, but I think it's about priorities. and like I've been working as a teacher for the past 3 years, and like that means I've been working like all the time, and I think it did have some impact on my studies because I had to cut some classes sometimes. I had to
Some classes at university?
yeah, at
Oh,
university.
yeah.
Not
So
here.
your
Gangsta
priority
move,
was
right?
like working, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the priority, and I mean, yeah, that's why it had some toll on my education. But the thing is, the question is, what did I lose? You know, I mean, if I cut a whole semester, I don't think I'll lose much at university. And I think now we can educate ourselves, and I mean, I can learn a lot about my field from online sources. We have like unlimited like opportunities nowadays. I can read whatever article I want. I can have access to the best sources possible on Earth. So missing several classes would not hurt my chances of like passing some exams. So I think it had some effect on my education, but if you really want, you can just balance it.
Okay, so generally you guys recommend the guys watching us to work and study at the same time because you think that it's not gonna have negative effect, right?
Yeah, like it depends. Like if you are learning as an English teacher in methodics, right? What we call it.
Okay.
You have to work as much as possible because in the future you're obviously going to be a teacher.
Okay.
So you're getting experience and doing the right stuff. But when it comes to people who have other kind of fields, you should wash yourself, you know. If you have endurance to make both of the ways, I think you should go it because when you have pressure, you kind of your time management skills will show themselves. And
when the time is limited, like you try to be more productive,
more
right?
productive, yeah.
And it's gonna be more efficient, right? So like many things in a limited period of time, it's gonna be more efficient, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So you think that like it's gonna be efficient if the students work and study at the same time, right?
Yeah, a lot of people, for example, as I said, my group mates are saying like, you're doing wrong thing. They are trying to focus on medical sphere only, but I'm doing just like them and also like work. I'm also making money.
Okay.
I'm also doing like good to my family financially.
Okay.
And I'm also gaining experience in terms of like talking to people, and it's very important for doctors, I guess.
Okay. So I got it. So yeah, good ideas. So my question is gonna be different now. So you know, like the word student has been associated with being hungry, let's say, right?
Starvation, right?
Yeah. Being broke.
Hungry
right?
is not quite a good word.
When I was growing up and when I was studying at school, when I was going to school, I was preparing for the university entrance exams, right? And at that time, I had like there were lots of jokes in Uzbekistan, right? Jokes, like lots of people, like especially comedians, were just talking about this all the time, right? About students, like hunger was associated with like students, right?
Those kind of collocation.
Broke, hunger, and what kind of words? How do we call it? Like hot lunch, noodles, right?
Yes.
And what else? Bus, probably, right?
No meat.
No meat.
No meat, yeah.
No gas, like electricity.
Okay. And the same socks all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same clothes. Yeah. I mean, why am I asking this? Because like it may seem strange, but I was afraid of like I was afraid to have like,
difficulty.
Yeah, kind of. I was like expecting. I mean, like, what the hell? Like, is this gonna happen with me as well? And I got into the university. I was a student, and I had enough money, and I made a living by teaching people and also some sort of like jobs. But I didn't have such kind of experience, you know. Like I was not hungry, right? So why am I asking? Because like nowadays everything is changing, right? So do we really have a lot of students hungry these days, like without money, broke, on the buses, the same socks, the same clothes?
I think we should give it to.
What do you think? So,
Well, that's interesting, but I don't really think so because I think now getting into university is not as
That
big.
difficult.
Yeah, it's not that difficult, and it's not seen as a really huge achievement.
okay.
And in the past, it was much harder. That's why people would.
Celebrate it, right? So
Yeah, it
at
was.
home,
It was
screaming.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, when I got into university, I was expecting it. That's why I wasn't really like happy. I mean,
Okay.
I was grateful, but didn't really celebrate it or anything like that.
Jumping.
Yeah, no jumping.
Doing backflips, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing about that. And I think nowadays it's not really the case. And I'm not sure if it was the case actually in the past. Maybe we had such students, but maybe it was more about those jokes and those things actually created that impression.
It was exaggeration.
Yeah, probably it was exaggeration.
I was thinking about the economy at the time. I mean, like the country's economy. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like maybe I'm not gonna talk about politics, but yeah, like when I was a kid, my sisters, my brothers, they were applying for the university, rejected all the time, and they actually thought that they wouldn't study at the university if they got into the university with the contract, let's say, right? But these days we have contract, super contract, super booper, and hyper contract as well.
Crazy.
But yeah, like people are rich these days, right? I actually associated the state of being a student now with the developed economy like in Uzbekistan, right? But maybe, yeah, like it was exaggerated before, right? But anyways, like why do you think the students are not actually that poor these days?
Yeah, it probably goes to like economy stuff that you talked about. I don't know about others, but I was personally our like apartment when we were preparing for university. We actually experienced this. We didn't have bread sometimes, and when we get noodles, like hot lunch, it was kind of celebration, the best meal possible. We had just 20,000 for a week, and it was like from like feeding perspective, from nutrition perspective, it wasn't good, but our time was like
limited.
No, like
I mean, like you had a lot of tasks, like actually medical student, right? So
medical students try very hard, and then we entered the university. And the first day we were going there, and irony is that like one person was trying to park his car, and I thought like, I think it's a student, and I looked at it and people saying like, he is a teacher, Our university teachers were struggling to park because they were filled with like student
a lot
cars,
of cars, that's the case at Narcos as well, like Tashkent State University of Economics. Like when I was studying there, I mean, like I was a kind of poor guy, no car, and I was just going there on foot. And when I went there were a lot of cars, and they were not just cars; they were cars, like Like actually, I became aware of certain cars there, certain car brands there when I got into the university. Like what I'm going to say is that like these days we have rich guys, right? But at the same time, like I was from a kind of middle class family, but I wasn't actually struggling, right? Why do you think so? I mean, like I was going to associate that with economy, as I said, because nowadays I guess we have a lot of jobs that students can do, right? So if you compare now and the past, we have a lot of jobs that we can do online, offline, right? And I guess that's the case as well. I mean, 20 years ago, or I don't know, like 15 years ago, maybe students were not able to work as a teacher at the teaching centers, right?
Yes.
Somewhere else, part-time job, but these days it's possible, right? Yes. And my question, my next question is about this one, like what kind of jobs are available for students if they're studying at the university, what kind of jobs can they do actually, like apart from teaching English, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Well, I think they can do anything they want.
But can they actually do anything that they want?
I want to take it back.
They want to just lay and sleep, all day long.
Okay.
Yeah, not anything they want, but I mean, they have a lot of options nowadays.
Okay.
If they want, they can just work as a waitress. I mean, I know a lot of people like
The
that.
common one, right?
Yeah,
For the
it
students,
is probably the most common one. And now I think they have a lot of options to choose from. I think the most like common one is working as a waitress or waiter. But the thing is, now we have a lot of opportunities to upskill, and we can just work on ourselves and get better at anything. And I actually have some friends who work as accountants, and they just took some courses and worked on themselves, and they have probably mastered that field. And now they actually have a job to live on, and they can make money off it. And I think
like the case is, I'm sorry to disturb, like the case is that accounts, right? So students can work as an accountant. Yeah, like they can work as an accountant, right? So, but this was not the case in the past, right? Only like old guys, like because my father is an accountant, like old guys, like accountant. The word accountant is associated with
counting money, right?
Counting money, or like I don't mean this, like it's associated with elderly people, right?
Yeah.
So, but these days, small kids can also do the job, right?
Yeah, and I think now they do it even better because they have like the technology, and the field has actually transformed in a way, and I think they can be even better at this job and at many jobs actually.
Okay, so like waiter and accountant, you said.
I said like anything.
Okay, so you just made some examples, right? Okay, so
and also I think like we have high demand for accountants because there is more money in our economy now. If you don't have money, you don't need any like someone to count all that money, right? Basically, accountant is this, I guess. And I'm not really into economics.
Okay, so like I'm not asking about accountant, accounting or something else. Like, what kind of jobs can the students do nowadays as a part-time job?
The one that I experienced was construction worker. It's like very good one.
Construction worker.
You can earn a lot of money if you are strong and if you can work like 12 hours a day. But after working like 2-3 months, you'll be really exhausted, both like psychologically and physically.
Okay.
And you want to just cry.
Okay, construction worker, and what else?
And teaching.
Okay, teaching. Okay, like construction worker and teaching.
Car washer we have.
Car washer we have. Yeah. What about like, how do we call it? Like delivery.
Delivery, right?
Yeah,
delivery service. Yeah.
Delivery service. Yeah.
We have the legendary one, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are earning 200K a day, which is
really
awesome, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So, would you do it? I mean, like, imagine, like, you had a chance. Why laughing?
Like after teaching, doing delivery stuff, I think it's
no. Like, imagine you didn't get the job at teaching. I mean, like, you don't have a job here at the teaching center, right? So, would you actually consider that job
as an option?
Yeah, as an option.
I think it's a good one because especially if you have a electric scooter, which a lot of delivery guys have these days. It's good. You just ride and you just like bring people food and different kind of items. And it's not really tiring, physically tiring.
Okay.
And it pays you a lot. Like 200K is awesome. It's the similar, like same money. I was working as a construction worker.
Good. So what job would you do? I mean, it's like you don't have any kind of teaching skill. You don't know English, and you're studying. I mean, you're going to university. And what job would be your consideration?
I've never thought about that, and I've never had this problem because, like I told you, I was working like as soon as I got into university. But I guess I don't know really. I think I would not consider like
Working.
menial jobs,
Okay.
Menial?
like yeah, physical jobs.
Yeah.
And maybe I would just work on myself a little bit and then try to learn anything basically. And
Okay.
then
Do we call it like white collar?
white collar, yes.
Okay, so let's not talk about the financial benefit of the jobs only. So you are talking about delivery service just because like those guys earn quite well. I mean, to 200K, right? And you said that your friends were working as an accountant, right? I mean, like we're considering again about financial side, right? So what about like personal growth, personal development?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
That's the
do
thing.
we have any kind of advantages of working? I mean, having some part-time jobs for our personal development, for example, delivery service.
Delivery service, I think it's kind of, you know, the least option when you want to work, when you earn money. That's why I talked only about financial side, because nobody wants to work like for 3 years as a delivery guy, you know?
Okay, so my question for you, like, your friend is working as an accountant, right?
Yes.
So what kind of benefits do we have for personal development?
Well, I think any job would be beneficial. Not so sure about accountants because there's this weird thing about accounting. People think it's only about like money, and they, you don't really
As I
get.
said, super crazy ideas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for example, he talked about like delivery. You know, I think you still get the chance to talk to people, and
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah, I was going
Yeah,
to.
you see people from like all backgrounds, and
Yeah.
you see the world. You know,
Yeah.
some people are ordering because they don't have money. Maybe, yeah, like because of like cheaper options, maybe.
Okay.
Or some
And
people are
some-
ordering because they have a lot of money. You can see
Wow.
this people at both ends of spectrums.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to accounting, I think this is also the case. You know, when you work with different companies, you get the chance to see some life. Basically, you get some experience in life, and I think it's going to be useful. Like
Okay.
any job.
Okay.
But
gonna be
when you are a
beneficial.
delivery guy, people don't treat you properly, I guess.
Still, it's
my
going to be
opinion.
useful. You know, you can learn something about people and their
Their
character,
treatment to the
their
people?
treatment. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like
saying
still you
this
can learn.
because my friend worked as a delivery guy, and he used to have a bike, and when he was going, he just scratched one spark like car,
Yeah.
and he called me, and I came. Like, this guy was swearing, you know, saying bad things. You're just a delivery guy. Look at what he did to my car and stuff like that. You have to pay.
Yeah, you
I
know,
don't
like
care.
this happens, you know, like
Yeah.
imagine that guy was not working as a delivery guy, but still like scratched the car, right? the same would have happened, I guess, right?
I don't know. I mean, some people might look down on them because I think we should not really look down on jobs in general, because I mean, some people might actually look down on certain jobs. And it might not actually have happened because if that guy was not working as a delivery guy, because I think some people do it. I don't understand why, but some people actually look down on certain jobs.
I realized this because the guy was saying, like, I don't care if you work for 2 years, you have to pay this. It's just a scratch, you know. Why you're saying 2 years? They're earning a lot of money. And then I said, oh yeah.
Oh, like
You
that guy
guys.
was actually paying attention to the amount of money, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Earned.
And
Yeah.
they think they don't really get anything from
Yeah.
working at that job. But the thing is, you know, at that moment, the situation feels awful, but then, like, in retrospect, they say, like, you realize that such moments actually shape who you are, and you learn so much about people and life. And I'm saying, yeah, at that moment it feels so stressful, you get frustrated. But
Of course.
after that, I think, like, on the whole, it's gonna be beneficial.
Okay, so but this situation can happen with any kind of job, right?
Yeah.
So I remember Uktam John coming to me and complaining about one student, and that guy was behaving in a disrespectful way, right? And that guy was not paying attention to the class at all, and that guy was disrespecting him, let's say, right? So like the same is happening. Yeah, of course, like he's working here at the teaching center, but the same can happen everywhere, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Like, and then like he was aware, oh, like this can happen, and this is what it is, right? And it's life.
Yeah.
We should just
That's
go
the
on.
thing, though.
Yeah, right. So let's come back to the topic. So, like guys, I realized that when I was working at the teaching center at IELTS Zone in Tashkent, I wasn't really caring about my marks at the university. Like.
Yeah.
Like they were unimportant.
Gangster.
Yeah, like kind of gangster. Like just going to the classes late, and if my teachers are watching this, hello. Right? And I missed lots of classes, and
But your marks were, I think, awesome.
of course, my marks are awesome. It's not because of. I mean, like it's because like I was coming late just because of my work, but at the same time I was working on myself and self-studying. Like I got the chance to work on myself just because I had a lot of chances. Well, especially I knew English, right? So I had a lot of sources, right? The case is that I was not that much concerned about my marks, right? Even if I had 5 marks all the time, I was not actually caring about my study. And did it happen? I mean, like I know some guys. They actually went to Tashkent for the sake of studying there, and after some time they start working somewhere, right, getting better salary, right, and then they just dropped out of the university, right? So what do you think? This is common nowadays,
Yeah.
and one of the teachers at IELTS Zone did the same. So yeah, like he was actually earning quite a lot of money at IELTS Zone, and like he just stopped studying.
Dropped out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually,
I'm sure.
2 or 3 guys. Right? So what do you think about that? Like, do you think this will happen with you guys? For example, you should study 2 years,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like 3 extra years, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think this is gonna happen with you?
I think it already happened to some extent because university is somehow so easy. Like studying is easy, and like when it comes to exams are a little bit frustrating, but you can manage it. As a medical student, they give you like just diseases, several like illnesses, and you have to prepare. You have to say the symptoms and like different stuff, how like the illness occurs, right? And I have my internet. I just go Google. 5 minutes is enough for me to prepare and to perform the best because I know English, and other guys just flip the pages of those big books, which are not really effective, old, and they have a lot of like waters in them. They are not like heavy stuff that you actually need. So yeah, 5 minutes is enough for me, and I just sit wondering different things with my own thoughts for like extra, like, I don't know, 80 minutes. And I'm being not productive there. And I'm losing my passion because it's so easy. When it's easy, when you are in beginner class, as you're like 8 IELTS, it feels very annoying and you want to just go out, right?
Okay, do you think you will go out?
No, I don't go out. I'll be watching Insta Reels and YouTube Shorts as other students do.
I mean, like, are you going to drop out? Like, do you think you will?
No, I worked so hard for this university. I don't know about other people, but I have studied for 4 years, like every single day, 12 hours a day. And
okay.
Yeah.
So you will be keeping studying,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this never happened with you, right? So
that was like
other,
also like one reasons why I started learning English, because in English it's easier and it's effective. It's very good to learn medicine in English, and also for learning medicine in English you have to have some resource which costs some money. Like we have a UWorld called website, $500. Okay. And like RX $70, like all the money will be like $1,000 to learn medicine thoroughly, And I didn't have money as a student, and I have books. I was buying books which I'm not really interested in, and I had to earn money, and I started teaching, I guess. Okay. But I have money now, but I'm not learning this stuff yet.
Okay, good. So you're on your final year. I mean, in your final year, and you wouldn't drop out of your university, right?
I have thought about it earlier. Like, I think in my second year when I was a sophomore, I I thought quite hard about this, but then, some people put me off and I couldn't really do it. And again, I didn't really work hard for this university actually. I just had 7 like
In IELTS?
before
And how was your math?
my math was great.
And great, and it was not hard, right? You didn't study hard, but
no,
your math is
I
great.
studied hard, but I was so interested in math that it was not kind of extra work for me.
Yeah, it was not for the sake of getting into the university, right?
No, at that time it was actually. I wanted to get into university, but then I got 7 and I thought maybe I should go abroad. And I didn't really do it. I just settled for this option and I got into university. The thing is, I didn't really care about anything about university. I would just go there and sit there and read books. And I think everybody confirms. And even though I know the answer, I would just shut up and not care about anything. And I would go to university only because I had to.
Oh.
Wow.
Maybe not.
And still, you're still studying there, right?
The thing, I don't think only because I had to. I have friends there. I have really good friends there, and they are really smart. And I can just go there, sit with them, and talk about anything. Okay. And they are really smart guys, and I can grow with them. In this sense, it's good. Okay. But I actually think from teachers, you don't really get much. I'm sorry, but that's the situation now. And that's why I would just, for the first 2 years, I was on my own. I would just go there, talk to my friends, and just read books. And actually, the university gave me this chance to read. I would go there.
And you were feeling bored, and you had nothing but reading.
Yeah.
And you had a kind of reading habit just because of university?
No, I had this habit already, but if I wasn't studying at university, I would not read those books because when I'm there, I have nothing to do. And some people would just play certain games, but I was more interested in reading books at the time. Yeah. And the university actually gave me this chance. So I think it was a win-win. I was just going there and studying in some way, not studying anything, but just working on myself to some extent.
Okay, I got it. So you would never drop out of it. So
I thought about it, but not now, yeah.
Okay, good. So we are talking about university students, right? I guess we should talk about students generally as well. There are lots of students studying for taking IELTS, right? So they are also considered students, I guess, right? Yeah, and let's talk about them as well. Guys, we're talking about you guys. So there are lots of guys learning English, right? They actually go to school, but they come to the teaching centers to study, right? And some of them are very stubborn. In terms of financial side, and they don't want to spend from their parents' side, right? So they want to work and earn money themselves, right? We have such kind of 16-year-old guys, a lot of guys. I saw a lot of guys, right? So what do you think? Should they actually study or work, or study and work at the same time? Those 16, 17-year-old guys.
I think it depends on when they are taking the test, and it depends on how necessary IELTS it is for them. And for them, I wouldn't recommend studying and working at the same time.
For them, right? For school students.
Yeah, because I think they may not be mature enough to work and
physically ready for that.
And the thing is, IELTS is necessary. If IELTS is necessary for their future, they should just devote focus on it and get it done, and then be done with it, and then they can just go on to do whatever they want.
Okay.
In our case, like I told you, he says, university is easy. I say, I don't care about university. That's why we were just doing it, We were not focusing on both things, but if they work, they are going to focus on IELTS and work as well.
So just because university study was not that important for you guys, you were able to work as a teacher here, right?
Yeah.
Right? And he said that it was easy, right? It was not like he didn't say it was unnecessary, but
yeah.
he said like it was easy. That's why he was able to handle, right?
Yes.
But school students may find it difficult, right?
Students, and also it's not about finding it difficult only, but if they were, for example, as a delivery guy, right? They're earning 300K a day, and when they taste the pleasure of money, they
will
stop,
never study, right?
Yeah, studying is kind of delayed gratification. You know, you have to study for 7-8 years, learn, and then you start making money, and you start making money slowly.
Oh,
It grows gradually, and they just lose their patience to really wait for that wage. You know,
I see.
Yeah.
Makes sense,
Great
right?
point. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they start earning money, and as a result, they will not focus on their study, right?
Yes, of course.
And I talk with the students here, as you guys know. I talk with this students studying at IELTS Zone, and some people actually underperform in some cases actually in their exams. And when I talk to them, they usually say that they work, they have kind of family business. In the evening, they just go to street and sell something, especially by the parks, right?
Yes.
So near parks, they usually sell something, and they cannot catch up with others, and they cannot actually come on time just because they sleep late, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So guys, if you're watching, and if you are at the age of 15 to 18 probably, and if you're studying English, learning English, studying for IELTS exam, it's better not to work, or you can work but kind of light work.
Right.
I mean, like, right?
That doesn't pay you much.
Which doesn't pay you much, right?
I mean, I have respect for them. I do respect such people actually. They wanna like stand on their own 2 feet and like take care of themselves and not be a burden on their family. But the thing is, they're not gonna be seen as a burden on their family, because while they're studying, it's a good investment, and that's gonna pay off later. But the thing is, like he said, like it's gonna be like late gratification, and now we are so used to instant gratification, like social media and that kind of stuff.
Just because of social media.
That's why it's gonna be difficult.
We have some people like at the age of 15, they claim to have achieved lots of things at the age of 15 or 14, and seeing that their peers are doing a lot of great things, they are tempted to work and earn a lot of money instantly, right?
Yes.
So, but at the same time, what about families, guys? Parents. Some parents are urging students, they're urging students to work and like just pay, like do the payment yourself, right? You're studying, I'm not studying, right? So you should do it yourself, right? How do you think about this?
I think it was prominent when I was in 5th grade. I used to study at village school, and my parents decided you have to go to like specialized school in city. And we were actually 3 people, my 3 friends, and we all passed the exams. But my 2 friends' parents say like, oh, it's like 150K at a time. It's too much money. Why we should pay for our children? He just studies in a village.
He's just a kid, right? So he's only 12, so there will be lots of opportunities in the future, right?
Yeah.
So no need to study, right?
It was like main priority was like kind of money in their mind, and they just decided not to give their children. And I studied there. I think it was the biggest thing I have done in my life, and I learned a lot. I kind of developed learning muscle, kind of become Bruce Lee of learning, like studying.
Okay.
And
all right.
Now they're not that good now. Yeah. And also because of the money, a lot of people in our village, like when they're 18, they graduate from school, they go to Russia for like 3-4 years, and they earn $1,000 a month. And when you have that money, you can't come to Uzbekistan and you can't work here for 2 million. You can't never adopt. And it's kind of curse, you have to go to Russia again because you are not satisfied here. And you keep going to Russia, but it doesn't have a future. You have to marry here, and you are far away from your family. You come here 2 months, your money will be over. You have to go again. That's a very difficult situation. I think my uncle suffers from this, and now my 10 classmates are there experiencing this. They are very miserable.
So like for parents, you would say that we should have investment in children's education, right? So this happened in my life as well. So my parents, like as I said, I am from a very middle class family. Yeah. And still my parents, my brother, they were able to support me, right? Financially, they actually support me. And yeah, they did they did a great job. So yeah, it paid off, I guess.
Of course.
Yeah.
And parents should consider what kind of job they are giving their children to. If the job is related to children's like future field, I think it's beneficial when it comes to, like, for example, salesperson or business person or some kind of teaching, for example, as a young kid, it's good. But when it comes to delivery guy working in Russia, it doesn't have a future. You can't do this job for your entire life. Mm-hmm. So when this is a situation, you have to just resist the temptation and suffer for a little time, and then it pays off.
Okay, good. So what do you think? Like some parents urge their children to work and do the payment for their education themselves, right? Do you think this is a good idea?
Well, I think the rationale behind that may be like making their children independent early on, and then while working they develop this like money management skills and that kind of things. They earn money and they spend it themselves, and it might work in some way, but in the long term I think it's gonna be like detrimental, because as you said, we gotta see education as an investment, not a burden. Because it's gonna pay off. Like hopefully it's gonna pay off later in life. And yeah, I think that's the thing. We should see it as a good investment, and it will pay off.
Okay, so nowadays Uzbek parents are actually they now realize the importance of studying, right? They realize the importance of investment and investing in their children's education, right?
Yeah, so I think most people are like that actually.
Compared to the past, nowadays they're definitely more aware, right? Yeah. So what do you think? Why is this the case now?
I'm not so sure why, but now everybody wants their children to have a good job, well-paid job,
and
good life, and that's why everybody wants their children to study. And even in the countryside, in the city, everywhere, we have parents urging their children to study and get into university. In the past, it was kind of life or death matter, and now I don't think it is at that level, but still, most people really motivate their children to study and get a life, basically. Maybe it's because of some examples of successful people, in the past there were few.
And now there are a lot of successful people.
Now there are too many people.
And we have a lot of videos available, right, on social media. And parents can access to those videos and see a lot of successful people, especially business guys, and they urge their children to work hard and study, right? Yeah.
And also there was a thing our economy wasn't that good, and people would say look at the people who have studied.
Oh yeah.
And what they're doing. They were working as in construction in Russia.
Yeah, we had a kind of stereotype that if you study,
there's no job.
Nothing is gonna change, right? There's no job, but these days we have much stronger private sectors, right? There are lots of jobs available in the private sector as well, and that's why parents are urging their children to study hard, right?
I think sometimes it's too much, though. We still
you mean urging?
Yeah, some if they are not really adept at learning, then I think you should just let them choose. Some parents can be too forceful in this, and I actually think we still have that problem. We still have unemployment, and most people who graduate universities don't really work in their fields, and most educated people actually go to Russia even now. The thing is, maybe it's because of social media. We have some great examples, successful people, and because of those select few, like most people urge their children to do the same, but they don't see the dark side of this education. But for example, if there are 50 people studying in economic classes nowadays, I don't think half of them are going to work in this job. Or I don't really think half of them are going to lead a successful life because of their field.
Okay. So thank you guys. It's enough, I guess. It's enough for today. And I had a lot of questions, and like I will be asking those questions next time probably. And I guess today's episode was like great, and
Yes.
people are gonna watch it and like it, right guys? So wait for the next episode. Like we're going to talk about the same topic, what the different questions probably. And for the next episode, you can just go to this link and click it and watch it. Okay. So you guys, take care. Thank you so much.
It's
Take
an
care.
honor to talk.
All right.